Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. Also make sure you turn off the dishwasher's water supply underneath the sink. In this video, we're going to show you how to change out the Whirlpool dishwasher sump. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new sump. The sump is where the main components are mounted at the bottom of the dishwasher. The main reason to be changing it out is if the seals have gone bad or it's cracked and you're getting water leaking on the floor. In order to get to the part, we have to pull the dishwasher out of the cabinets. First thing we're going to do is go underneath the sink and disconnect the lines. Now that we're underneath the cabinets, you want to make sure that the dishwasher is still unplugged, and you may want to throw a towel down. When we take off the fill line and the drain hose, there's going to be some water that comes out. First, we're going to disconnect the fill line. It's connected right here to the hot water valve. You want to make sure the water valve is off, and then we're going to use our 5/8" wrench to loosen up the hose. Once you have it broke free, you can just reach in and unscrew it by hand. Once you have it off, you can just set it down, and then we can take off the drain hose. To take the drain hose off, you just want to follow it up to wherever it goes. It may go to the garbage disposal. Ours goes up to the air gap. Once you locate the end of it, we're going to take a 5/16 nut driver and loosen up the clamp. Once you have the clamp loose, you can pull it free and set it down. Now that we have the lines disconnected, we're going to open up the dishwasher door and take the lower rack out. To get the rack out, all you have to do is pull it out and lift it off the door. Once you have it out, you can set it aside. Now that we have the lower dish rack out of the way, we can reach in and take the spray arm out. All you have to do is grab this nut and turn it counterclockwise so it unlocks. Once you have it unlocked, we can lift it out and pull it out of the dishwasher. With the spray arm out of the way, we have to reach in and take this base off. There's a locking tab right here that we have to lift up on and then turn it counterclockwise a little bit. And then as you're turning this assembly, there's a couple locking tabs on this water feed hose that we just have to release and then turn the assembly while the hose is coming out. Once you have the hose out, you can turn it the rest of the way and lift it out and set it aside. We can reach in and carefully pull the diverter out. Now that we have the diverter out, we can take out the filters. We're going to take out the filter basket first. All you have to do is kind of push down on it a little bit and turn it counterclockwise. Once it stops, you can lift it out, set it aside. Then we can take out the filter screen. All we have to do is lift it up and pull it out. Now that we have all the parts out of the inside of the dishwasher, we can use the Phillips screwdriver to take out the screws that hold the dishwasher to the countertop. Now that we have the screws out, we're going to pull the dishwasher out from the cabinet. We're going to lift up on the door and carefully use it to get the dishwasher out from the cabinet. Once you have it out, you can close the door and use the frame to pull it out the rest of the way. We're going to pull it out far enough so we can put a towel down so we can lay it on its back. We're going to lay the towel down to protect the floor and catch any water that may come out. Once you have the towel down, we're going to carefully lay the dishwasher down on its back. Now that we have the dishwasher on its back, we have access to the pump and motor assembly. We're going to use our 5/16 nut driver to take out the screws that hold on the counterbalance weight. Once you have both screws out, you can lift the weight out and set it aside. We can take off everything so we can remove the sump. We're going to start at the top and take off the drain hose. We're going to use a pliers to compress the clamp and move it up the drain hose so we can pull it off the pump. Once you have it off, you can just swing the drain hose out of the way. We're going to take out the drain pump. First, we're going to take off the wiring harness. Just going to use a small flathead screwdriver to press on the release lever. Once you have the wire harness off the drain pump, you want to remove any wires that may be mounted in the holding clips. And then we can turn the drain pump counterclockwise to release it. Once you have it unlocked, you can pull it off the sump, set it aside. Next, we can take the wires off the diverter motor. We're going to take the red one off first. We're just going to use the small flathead screwdriver to release the locking tab. Then we can take the blue wire off. First, we're going to take it out of the little wire holders. Then we'll use a small flathead screwdriver again to release the locking tab and pull the wire harness out. Once you have the wires off, you can just swing them out of the way. Next, we can use the Torx 15 driver to remove the screws that hold the diverter motor to the sump. Once you have both screws out, we can release this little locking tab right here. All you have to do is press on it and release it, and then you can carefully pull the diverter motor off. Once you have it off, you can set it aside. Now that we have the diverter motor out, we have to take off the pump assembly. We're going to take the wires out of this clip right here first. Just have to lift up and slide them out. Once you have the wires out of the way, we can take off the main motor. If you have the old style clamps that can't be taken off, they don't have a screw to release them, you may have to cut them off and replace them. If you have the newer style clamp, we're going to use a 1/4-inch nut driver to loosen it up. Once you have it loose, we're just going to pull on the base of the motor a little bit towards you so it clears the bottom of the dishwasher, and then we're going to pull down on it. Once you have it off, you want to look at the back side of the motor. There's a little mounting tab right here that goes up into the sump. There's this rubber grommet right here. If yours came off and it's stuck on the motor, you want to take it off. The new sump comes with it, so you don't want it on the motor when you try to put that back in. Once you have it clear, you can set the motor aside. Once you have the motor off, we have to remove the seal that goes to the sump. We're just going to take a small flathead screwdriver and get in there and carefully break it free. Once you have that out, you can set it aside. Now we're going to take out the turbidity sensor. First, we have to release all these wires from this little clip. We're going to take a small flathead screwdriver and get behind it and kind of flex it so we can get the wires out. Once you have those out, we can take the turbidity sensor out. We're just going to turn it counterclockwise. Once it stops, we're just going to wiggle it out. Once you have it free, we're just going to carefully set it here, and we have to release these 3 locking tabs so we can push the sump up into the dishwasher. You just need to turn these tabs whichever way they release. This one goes clockwise. The upper one goes counterclockwise. And the one over by 4 o'clock, we're going to turn counterclockwise. Once you have all 3 locking tabs released, we're going to press on this locking tab right here and then press in on the sump so it goes up into the dishwasher. Once you have the sump free, we can put the dishwasher back up on its feet. We're just going to carefully set the dishwasher up on its feet. Now we're going to push in the dishwasher. We're just going to push it in far enough so the back end's underneath the countertop so it doesn't tip over when we open up the door. Once you have it in there, we can carefully open up the door and lift the sump assembly out. Here's the old sump next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. Before you put the new sump in, you want to make sure you clean this area out. That's where the seal is going to sit. You can also leave it wet and get the seal wet to make it slide in easier. Once you're ready, we can put the sump in. We have to make sure that this tab right here lines up with this little notch. Once you're ready, you can turn the sump over and put it into place. If you have to, you can move the water supply tube out of the way. Once you have it in place, you want to go around and push down on it to get it to seat. Once you're ready, all you have to do is lift up the insulation and then reach underneath and turn the locking tabs. You should be able to reach in and do 2 from one side and 1 from the other side. If you can't turn the locking tabs and get them to lock into place, you're going to have to push down harder on the sump in order to make sure it's seated all the way. Now that we have all 3 locking tabs locked down, we can pull the dishwasher out from the cabinet so we can put it on its back. Now that we have the dishwasher on its back, we can put everything onto the sump. First, we're going to reroute the wires. Remember, the blue wires and the yellow wires for the turbidity sensor go in the holder. So we're just going to lift up on the clip with our flathead screwdriver and get them behind there. Then we can follow the wire harness down and grab the turbidity sensor. You just have to line it up. You want to put this arrow right in line with this notch here. And then you can push it in and turn it clockwise 90 degrees so it locks into place. Now we can put the pump to sump seal in. All you have to do is push it into place. Remember, all these things you can get wet to make them easier to slide in. Make sure you push up on it all the way so it seats properly. To put the motor back on, we have to line up this locking tab and make sure it goes up into the sump assembly. To make it easier to push all these in, you can get everything wet to make it easier to slide in. So we can get this rubber seal wet here and up in here wet, and these hoses and the fitting wet. And then you have to get the tab up into the sump and push it up into place. We have to turn it at a little bit of an angle like this and then go up like that to get the tab to go into the sump. Once you have it all the way up in place, we're going to grab our 1/4" nut driver and tighten this clamp down. You want to make sure that the tab is all the way up into the little cutout. Once you have the clamp tightened down, we're going to route the wires and put them into the little wire holder. To put the diverter motor in, we're just going to carefully push the shaft up into the opening. You don't want to jam it up in there, just kind of slowly work it up so it goes past the seal without damaging it. Once you have it in place, the little locking tab should hold it in place. And then we can grab the Torx 15 driver and put the screws in. Now that we have the diverter motor mounted, we can reattach the wires. We're just going to grab the wire harnesses. And remember, the blue one went here. They can only go in one way, so just push them in so they lock in. And the red one went up on the top. Once you have them both in, we're going to route the blue wire through its little holders right here. And then we can put the drain pump in. To put the drain pump on, we're just going to line up the motor coil right here with this little wire harness holder and push it in. Same as the main motor. If you have a hard time pushing it in, you can get the O-rings wet. Once you have it in place, you can turn it clockwise to lock it in. Once you have the drain pump locked in, we can put the diverter motor wire harness through its holder. And then we can grab the brown wiring harness and plug it into the drain pump. Once you have that secure, we can put the drain hose back on. To put the drain hose on, we're just going to line it up and get it started. And we're going to have to use our pliers to compress the clamp. We can push the hose all the way down onto the sump and move the clamp down so we get a good seal. Once you have the drain hose on, we can put the counterweight on. All we have to do is line this up and put it on. Once you have it in place, we can use the 5/16" nut driver to put the screws in. Now that we have everything put back on the sump, we can put the dishwasher back on its feet. To put the dishwasher back up on its feet, we're just going to carefully lift it up. The insulation's sliding off. Make sure you grab that at the same time. Now that we have the dishwasher back on its feet, we can pull the towel out and push it back in the cabinet. Now we have to reach underneath and put the line through the cabinets. We want to push the dishwasher in about halfway. Then we can go underneath the sink and pull on the lines to make sure they're not caught on anything. Then we can push the dishwasher in the rest of the way. Now we can reconnect the drain hose to the air gap. Once you have it pushed up into place, we're going to use our 5/16 inch nut driver to tighten down the clamp. Once you have the drain line hooked up, we can hook up the water line. All you have to do is get it started by hand. Once you have it snug, we can reach in with our 5/8 inch wrench to tighten it down so it doesn't leak. Now that we have the lines connected, we can close the cabinets and open up the dishwasher door. Once you have the door open, we can put everything back inside. First thing we're going to put on is the diverter. There's a little tab right here on the back of the shaft that you have to line up with the diverter. So when you push it down, make sure that the tab is lined up so it seats properly. To put the spray arm support in, you want to make sure that this arrow here lines up with this arrow on the sump. And then we have to move the spray arm supply tube aside. And once you get that down on there, we're going to line this up and then turn it all over as one piece so the tube locks into the spray arm support. As you spin it over, this little locking tab should lock in and the supply tube should be locked in. Once you have it in, we can put the filter in. To put the filter in, all you have to do is set it down into place. You want to make sure it goes underneath the two locking tabs. Once you have it in place, we can put the filter basket in. To put the filter basket in, all you have to do is set it into place and turn it until it drops down. And then press down a little bit and turn it so it locks in. Once you have it locked in, we can put the spray arm back on. To put the spray arm on, you want to make sure that the locking tab is in between the two tabs. Then you can set it down and turn it clockwise until it locks in. Once you have it in place, the spray arm should spin freely, and then we can put the lower rack back in. To put the lower dish rack in, all you have to do is set it on the door and push it all the way in. Once you have it in, we can use our Phillips screwdriver to put in the screws that hold the dishwasher to the countertop. Once you have both screws in, we can close the dishwasher door. Then we can plug it back in, turn the water back on, and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.